Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, the founder of She Angel Investors and also the co-founder of She Angels Foundation. I'm also an author and the host of a podcast called Invest in Her, which is all about finding funding for women. It's about women looking for funding and women that are those that fund other women. And then I also just did a TED talk. It's called Fund Women, Save the World. And it's about how important it is that we fund women in order to impact the planet in a positive way. So that's a little bit about me. As you can probably assess by now, I'm very passionate about finding funding for women. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But first, I want to tell you how I got into the investment world. So I'm a filmmaker. Years ago, I did a film called I Can't Marry You, and it was about same-sex marriage. And of course, we do have same-sex marriage today, and I believe it is film and television that really does change culture. And so about 6 years ago, I got involved in the world of investments and women being underfunded. As many of you might know, we get less than 2% of venture capital funding. And so I've really created this multimedia platform to bring awareness to that and talk about how we can change it. And so today's video section is about how we use personal tools in order to impact being able to get funded and create a successful business, because they really are something that are married to each other. So I'm going to tell you about the 7 simple things that I do on a daily basis that have helped me manifest the podcast and the events and the TV series and everything that I've been working on, including this e-course. So let's talk about what's going on in the funding world and how it impacts you as a female entrepreneur. So about 6 years ago, I launched the She Angels Pitch Fest and brought in women to invest in these women entrepreneurs who then pitch their new and innovative ideas. And then I filmed that and put it into a web series, which is still on YouTube. It's called She Angel Series. And it follows the journeys of these women and the impact it has on them, not just getting funding from other women, but also getting mentorship. And so it's so important that we all realize how underfunded women are, why that is, how we can fix it, and how that will benefit you as an entrepreneur. And so what it is we actually need more female investors, because people tend to invest in people they identify with. And so when it's all white men at the table, which is 98% at this point, that's why 98% of the funding goes basically to white men. And so if we're ever going to change that paradigm, we have to get more women into the investment world. And that's what I work on every day, is working with women who are starting funds to fund female entrepreneurs, working with women that want to invest in other female entrepreneurs. But today we're going to talk about all the various ways that you can get funded and how you can access that. But first we have to talk about what are the 7 things that you should be doing on a daily basis in your personal life in order to access funding and grow your business idea and launch your vision. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is these 7 steps that I've implemented into my life that have helped me manifest all of these things that I just mentioned to you. And I've gotten this from various thought leaders. I followed Marianne Williamson, Brendan Bouchard, Andrea Quinn, just to name a few. And a lot of you probably go to these different seminars or follow these people. But what's really important is, do we implement what they tell us into our life? And that really is the key. It's not just knowing about it, it's actually implementing it. And so of the 7 simple steps I'm going to tell you about implementing into your life to be able to manifest anything that you're trying to create, including funding. Let's start with the first of the 7. So the first one is a morning practice. And you've probably heard how important meditation is. Maybe some of you do it, maybe some of you don't. But these 7 steps, I call them 7 simple steps because they are so simple, but it's a matter of fact, do you do them? And that really is what's going to impact the outcome. Do you do them? Why is it important to meditate in the morning? First of all, I listened to Brendan Bouchard, who said, don't get up and get on your phone because that will hide you. That will take you off on a tangent for the day and put you in a busy space. And the reason meditation is so important is as you're trying to build your business or find funding, you need to meditate in order to set the tone for your day so that you're not only in a peaceful place, but it's a time to download the answers. Do you ever feel like, oh my gosh, what is the answer to this problem I have? And it's the magic of a meditation is that's when you get the downloads that you didn't think of before because there was so much chatter going on in your head. And you have to listen to those downloads. You know, that download might say, hey, did you call that person? Or, hey, here's another way to see that problem you have. And it's like almost an epiphany that you get when you have that meditation time. I once heard Oprah say, what's the difference between a meditation and prayer? And Deepak Chopra told her, well, the difference is when you're praying, you're asking for something, but when you're meditating, you're actually looking for things to come to you. You're not asking, you're receiving. And this is something, a muscle we all have to work on, is getting in that calm space. Marianne Williamson says a 5-minute meditation sets the whole tone for your entire day. And so that's why the first simple step is meditating. So your second step, it's going to prepare the day to be productive. And that is, and again, it's so simple, having a list the day before of what you're doing the next day. And why is that important? Well, when you wake up that day, you know exactly what's on your agenda. You're not guessing. You're not waking up saying, oh my gosh, what is it I'm supposed to do today? It gives you clarity. And even though a lot of people today put things on their computer or say, oh, I'll hold it all in my head, there is a magic to the old tradition of writing things down. When you write it down, it literally goes into your subconscious and is much more likely to be accomplished. The other thing that psychologically impacts us is when we check off having done that task. And so if you have written it down, it's in your subconscious, you wake up the next morning and you have a very productive day because you know exactly what you're planning to tackle. You always want to put the biggest priorities first. People tend to do the things that they want to do that are the easiest in the morning and leave the big things to later. But if you do the big things in the day, it makes you feel empowered and then gives you time to do the little things in the afternoon, perhaps when you're not as energetic as well. So writing down the day before those tasks that you want to accomplish will magically manifest those things that you're trying to get done and be very productive. Try it. It really does work. The third of the 7 simple steps, and I say one thing that most people don't do that really helps move your dream closer, is confiding in trusted confidants about what it is you want to accomplish. You'd be surprised how this is so powerful. And what I mean by this is, don't share your dream with just anyone, not Uncle Sam, who, always poo-poos what you're doing, or Aunt Sally, who says, that's impossible, that'll never happen. No, surround yourself with your people that will fuel you and that idea that you have, that people that believe in you. But when you have a coffee with someone or you meet someone at a networking and you feel that they are someone that would be in your court, you just feel that kismet with them, share it. Because if you keep it to yourself, it's probably not going to manifest. And that goes with funding as well. So talking to people about, hey, I need this project funded, they're very likely to say, oh, I know someone who does that. The people that we need to meet tend to be right in our peripheral, and we don't always know it. And if we don't talk about it, we'll never make that connection. And so don't be afraid to talk about it, but just go with your gut on who are the right people, who are the trusted confidants that have your best interest at heart. But don't be afraid to share what it is that you want to do. And that is number 3. So number 4 of the 7 steps, a daily routine of this is sure to impact your outcome. This is a simple thing to do, and you can imagine how powerful it is. Do one step every day toward that goal you're trying to achieve. Just one. Now, you could do more, but don't let a day go by without doing at least one thing toward that goal, whether it is doing research or talking to someone about it, or sending that email, or asking someone if they have a particular contact you need. Like, do one thing every day toward that big dream that you have, or getting that funding, or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, writing that book, creating that manuscript. Do one thing toward it every day. And in a year, you've done 365 things toward that goal. Do you think it's going to happen? Absolutely. And so it's an effect that snowballs. And so if you take it one step at a time, just one thing every day, that sounds easy, right? And the cool thing is when you do that one thing, you're going to feel so empowered. Like, I've done one thing toward my goal. It sometimes perpetuates you to do 2 or 3 or 4. But if you just do that one, you're going to feel good about yourself and you're going to manifest it. The next thing is, few people do this one easy step that is the most powerful of all. And that is, and this is on a daily basis, help someone else. You know, it's such a simple thing to do. And it's a muscle. If you start doing it, you'll see that you just kind of start to do it automatically. But there's a magic in helping someone else connect to someone that would help them, or gives them a leg up, or cheers them on. I mean, you know, whether it's giving to their nonprofit, or just giving them a hug. Sometimes it's that, telling them who to call if they need help with something, connecting them to another person that, you know, maybe they're writing a book and, you know, a publisher, you know, anything that you can do to help someone else really is a great way to not only just create karma, but it empowers you to feel joyful. And the more joyful you feel, the more you're going to draw to yourself what it is that you're trying to manifest. And so do something for someone else every day. The next thing is, of these 7 simple steps on a daily basis, is one of the most powerful things. It's a suggestion that will impact how positive you are. So what is that thing that will make you positive? Do something every day that makes you happy. A lot of times people, especially mothers, will put themselves on the sidelines and do something for everyone else. Do that one thing that makes you really happy. If it's reading a book, then take 10 minutes to read a book. If it's making a phone call to a friend, do that. If it's going and doing yoga, then do that. But do something that feeds your soul and energizes you, because you're going to be your best person to the self to manifest your vision and your dreams and your funding if you're feeling good about yourself. And the best way to feel good about yourself is to do something that makes you happy. So make sure that's a priority. The 7th one, it's so simple. A lot of people say, well, that's so simple. Of course I could do that. It's just a matter of, do you do it? And so the thing that is my favorite nighttime task that really impacts everything is a gratitude journal. You know, at the end of your day, before you put your head on your pillow, it's great to assess what you're grateful for. Even on a bad day, you can find 5 things that have gone right. So there might have been 95 things that didn't go right, but you can always find 5 things that you're really grateful for. Maybe it was that delicious, healthy salad at lunch. Maybe it was just as simple as walking your dog, and your dog brings you so much joy. You know how happy they are when they see you come home. Maybe it was seeing your child hug you and give you a big smile, or just seeing a friend and giving them a hug. When we go through and reassess what we're grateful for during that day, we relive it. And so otherwise it kind of goes wasted. Oh, that was a really great moment, but I didn't even give it a second thought. When you cherish it and think about those 5 things that you're so grateful for and embrace them and relive them and think of how grateful you are for them, there's no way you can't feel joy. You cannot feel joy if you're feeling true gratitude. And so that's why at the end of the day, it's such a great thing to do. And it pertains to business too. Hey, I'm so glad I got connected to that person. I'm so glad someone introduced me to that person that's going to help move my business forward. I'm so glad that I met that person that's going to fund my business or help me get funding. Since we're talking about funding and we want to bring it back to that, it applies to all of this. So what we do in our personal life absolutely impacts what happens in our professional life. And so I'm going to get back to funding because don't you think if every day you meditate for the answers and that you help other people and that you do things that make you happy and that you write down a list so you know what you're trying to accomplish and checking those off for that gratitude, doing your gratitude journal every night, doing one thing toward that project every day, 365 times during the year collectively, then don't you think that that thing is going to manifest? That funding is going to come, especially if you have done your work on finding out what are your options of funding and how can you access it. And that's why I created an e-course, 6 Ways to Fund Your Business, which is on our SheAngelInvestors.com site. And it's educating women on what are the various types of funding available to you, whether it's grants or loans or angel investments or venture capital, so that you don't have to bootstrap it and put up your own money. So this is a way to use other people's money or to find sources that can help you fund in ways that you never thought possible. And so it really is taking those 7 simple steps in your daily personal life to manifest funding and whatever it is you want to build in your business life. And that really is the key to launching your vision and getting your funding. I'm Catherine Gray, founder of SheAngelInvestors.com. As you know, I hope you'll tune into my podcast to find other resources of women that are funding other women. And then I also showcase women that are looking for funding, and that's on the Invest in Her podcast that you can find wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'm also available to find and connect with on LinkedIn, Catherine Gray. And on Instagram, I am Catherine Gray, Invest in Her. We also are She Angel Investors on Facebook and Instagram. So you can find us easily and connect with me if you have any questions or want to know how you can get our e-course or how you can find funding. I'm here to help. I'm all about funding women. That's what my mission is to figure out how we can level that funding field for women. And I know we can do it. We can do it together. And by funding more women, we're going to make this world a better place. Thank you.